Hey there, I'm Aki, and we just got a devlog from the Subnautica devs on Subnautica 2 with a ton of new info and gameplay. I recommend you watch the original first, but let's take a look at all the awesome new info we got and what you might have missed. Also, I am sick at the moment, so I'm sorry if my voice sounds a little weird. In this devlog, Anthony, the design lead on Subnautica 2, tells us about their goals for Subnautica 2. A futuristic underwater survival adventure, and we immediately get some footage from one of the caves of what I assume is the Shallows area. We also get a better look at those fish from the screenshots we looked at last time, and suddenly they don't seem so friendly. We also get to see what scanning will look like, which I really like. It just seems like an upgraded and improved version of the first game's mechanic with better visuals. We can also see the new UI with our oxygen, health, water and food stats now being in the top left instead of bottom left, which I don't mind too much, but why do we only have 4 hotbar slots? What? I'm really confused about this. So I think either they massively reduced the amount of tools you need to use, or this is something that you can upgrade as the game goes on. I really doubt they would just shrink our hotbar and keep the amount of stuff we need to put in there the same. But now we get to the interesting stuff. We see the player scanning some sort of slime on the floor, with the PDA informing them that the slime may contain useful genetics. It then recommends exposure and adaptation. Now this is clearly the genetic system they talked about, but here it just sounds like the player is supposed to just touch the slime? I assumed we'd have to extract DNA and refine it into a serum, like the old Subnautica prototypes. But this makes it sound like if you just use an alien slime as a face mask, you get special powers. Of course, there might be multiple different ways to improve your genetics, but I just think this is kind of odd, no? If you want to share your theories or get my opinions on anything Subnautica 2 related, make sure to join my Discord server, the link is in the description. We then get a look at the building menu. There are a lot of new and interesting buildings we can see here. First, a clay-style room. I personally have no clue what that could mean, so if you have any ideas, make sure to let me know in the comments. There's also a nook, which seems like something you can attach to an existing room to have some kind of small space with a window hanging off of it. A half-round room, which sounds really exciting, and more interior pieces, like the ones introduced in Below Zero. There are also supports, which we now have to place ourselves, and a superconductive foundation. And that makes me think we might actually have to wire electricity throughout our base. I mean, what other use could there be for a foundation that conducts electricity other than to power whatever's on it? While they place the pillar, we can also see that there's now an option to disable snapping. Now I really like this since it will allow us to do a lot more crazy stuff with our bases than before. But after this, it gets even crazier. It seems like we can completely customize the layout and shape of our base. Here, they attach a cube-shaped room to the bottom of the existing structure. Of course, it doesn't work because there are pillars in the way, but you get the idea. Now, I have good and bad feelings about this. The tubes and corridors from Subnautica are iconic, but also a bit restrictive. With this system, we can adapt our base precisely to what we need. Maybe we can even change the ceiling height if we add another room on top. But this also loses some of the charm of the original base system. Even the base in the video looks kind of blocky and I don't want to say ugly, but I'm not a fan. Now of course this is a preview and they probably just quickly built this to show off the mechanics, but I really hope there will be a way to soften those corners and maybe round them off. From the looks of it, we'll be able to create a very heavily customized base, where we first define the overall shape with different rooms that we attach to one another to form one big shape. And then we can place interior walls and doors inside as we see fit. Completely unrelated to base building, how do they have 0.71 out of 5 titanium? The only way I can think of to have this make sense is that they completely revamped the inventory and item system. Instead of collecting individual items, you'd have to mine resources, which slowly fills up a meter, so while extracting titanium, you get 0.1 titanium per second, for example. Now that would actually open up a way for them to more easily balance resource gathering and let you improve your tools and increase harvesting efficiency later in the game, which I think is really cool. And right in the next scene, I spotted a map. This is what the Subnautica 2 map could look like. Of course, you can't really make out much, but it's still cool to see. And it also looks like there's a bunch of open area at the top here, so maybe we are actually getting the giant open spaces that we've been hoping for. Anthony then shows off some in-editor shots of the graveyard biome. That's this one, in case you don't remember. And I noticed a biome list at the bottom here. Observatory, graveyard, lead zone, plateaus, and shallows. Now the last two are biomes from Subnautica 1. So I think they may just be reusing the names behind the scenes here, but that also means they're probably quite similar to the original biomes. I have absolutely no clue what observatory could be though. Let me know if you do. Oh, and remember those fish from the beginning? Yeah, I don't think they're friendly anymore. I do really like this little fella though, he's silly. In the same scene, we can see the player using the scanner, and it has some sort of radar or sonar on top. I don't know what it could be looking for, but maybe it shows you nearby resources or creatures, like a mini scanner room. That sounds like a logical upgrade to the scanner in my opinion, and I think that's really cool. Of course it could also show potential scans, so fragments for you to pick up. We then get a shot from inside a base, where Donya, the community manager, is currently building a corridor. And oh my god, the character is black! Those Twitter bigots are gonna lose their minds at this. Okay, seriously, what I'm more interested in though is the bottom left. To me, this looks like a status indicator for your base, with the amount of reinforcements and how much pressure is on the base. So I think if this number was lower, then this number, maybe the base would start to flood. That's actually a really good thing to know. And then you also have a power indicator around this whole thing to show you how much available energy the base has and how much of it is used. But I think the UI doesn't really seem to fit the rest at all, so maybe it's just a placeholder at the moment. We then get some cool multiplayer shots and a close-up look at the tadpole in action, before we're shown how you'll repair your vehicle. This looks like it's the exact same as in the original game, but I noticed something in the base in the background. What is that? I genuinely have absolutely no idea. No clue. If you do, please let me know in the comments, I'm really curious. But I'm really glad to see the Keep Calm Kitty poster is back at least. And at the end here, we even get a look at a new Leviathan. And did anyone else immediately think Squid Shark when they saw this, or is that just me? I had to do a double take when I first saw this because I thought this was actually the Squid Shark model. I do not think we've seen this creature anywhere yet, unless this is supposed to be the big bad from the trailer, but I think the tentacles are just way too short for that, no? So yeah, I think this might be a new creature. And that was everything in the devlog. I'm really glad they're doing these and showing us more of the process of making the game, and I can't wait for the next one. If you agree, make sure you go over there and tell them that you like it so they keep doing them. Now, if I missed anything, make sure to let me know. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, and as always, I'll see you next time. Goodbye!